This is the Landlord Advocates, where we help landlords become better landlords. I'm your host, Matthew Lyman. Welcome. Yesterday, our team at the Landlord Advocates reached out to numerous courts in the state of New York to find out what are they doing as far as eviction cases. We also reached out to many of you on many platforms on social media to ask you what the municipalities are doing in your neck of the woods. And we got a lot of answers back, and we thank you. The overall summation of what the courts are doing is that they are allowing the filing of eviction cases, but they are not going to hear any of them. They're not going to hear anything until next year. Some are going to hear holdover eviction cases where money is not the issue. They just want the tenants to move out. But in some of those courts, they're not going to render a warrant of eviction or a writ of eviction until next year. Many courts are not going to hear any cases whatsoever until January 2021. Well, it's going to take longer than that. In some municipalities, such as New York City, you may not have your case heard until June, July, or August of next year, 2021. That is not the basis on which the court should be doing that. When you look at the Centers for Disease Control Agency Order that came out on September 4th, and when you look at the Tenant Safe Harbor Act in the state of New York, they provided for tenants to prove in court that they have suffered under COVID-19. It also allowed for landlords to prove that the tenants did not suffer under COVID-19, and many of them have not. Between all of the government incentive programs that they have received, many of them choosing not to pay the rent, many of them buying brand new cars or close to brand new cars, some even putting money down for their own home. Clearly, they have not been suffering. But when the courts are not hearing cases until next year, you can take in all the filings you want, courts, but if you're not going to hear any cases until January 2021, how's that helping the landlords now? And when the courts are not going to hear cases until then, it begs the question, why are these laws even have been enacted if there's no proof in court to prove that they are not suffering or that they may be suffering? This goes against the very fiber, the very essence, the very nuance, the very spirit of jurisprudence. When a court of law decides that they are not going to hear cases based upon tenants who are suffering under COVID-19 without hearing both sides of the argument is such an insult to jurisprudence, such an insult to the fiber of law, the spirit of law. Landlords are being put in a position now where no money is coming in, no rents are being paid, properties are being destroyed, and yet they cannot go to court and say, please allow us to evict our tenant. This is not going to happen until January, February, March of 2021. Now remember, landlords, many of you may be saying, okay, January 2021, we can get our lives back, we can get the eviction. Not so fast. Not so fast. Landlords, what happens in November 2020? All across the United States, state legislatures could change hands, executive branch could change hands, the U.S. Congress could change hands, and the presidency of the United States could change hands. And for some of you, that is disastrous. Why? Because some of these legislatures might extend these eviction moratoriums even longer. Some of them may provide for tenants to pay the rent for a long period of time. Why do we say that? Senator Kamala Harris from the state of California, who many of you now know, she is the Democratic candidate for President of the United States, has proposed a bill of no evictions for 1 year, and tenants are given 18 months to pay the rent arrears. This is in essence could possibly give tenants 33 to 36 months to maintain tenancy without giving any rent to the landlord. We have a video here at the Landlord Advocates describing in detail Senator Kamala Harris and her proposals as it relates to you, the landlords. Please watch that. We will have a link to that above at the end of the video for you to watch that video. Another proposal that has been talked about ever since COVID-19 is a cancellation of all of the rent. So if there's a change in government, good or bad for you, this could very well happen across the United States. So landlords may have all of that rent that is owed to them waived. Tenant doesn't owe you anything. Bye-bye to the money that's owed. What? Why? Why should landlords and lenders do without the money that is due them? Why should they not get the money that's due? The tenants owe that. They should pay the landlords. The landlords then should be able to pay the banks and the mortgage companies the money that they obligated themselves to pay. The tenants obligated themselves. The landlords obligated themselves. But the only one that's left holding the bag are the landlords. Tenants' obligations could very well be waived come January or February if there's a change in government. Just be careful of that. Remember, governments, landlords are mandated to pay these mortgages, the upkeep of the property, any damages that the tenants may cause when they eventually leave, either on their own accord or through an eviction. They have to pay eviction costs, legal costs, to get these tenants gone. They also have to pay taxes and fees on these properties. Oh, that leads us to our next point. Taxes and fees. You governments out there have said no evictions whatsoever. Courts have said no evictions whatsoever until next year. But yet you mandate that these tenants don't have to worry about paying rent. Yeah, they're supposed to pay the rent. But there's no repercussions to them right now if they don't. But yet at the same time, you're mandating that landlords pay these taxes, pay these fees. Now, as most of you are aware right now, many municipalities across America are submitting their budgets to their city and town councils for next year. And every one of them have tax increases and fee increases on landlords and real estate holders, real estate investors, and the like. So taxes and fees are going to go up. In the seat of where the Landlord Advocates has our offices, our local city has proposed a tax increase of close to 2.9%. The county, close to 2%. And where I live, our taxes are proposed to be raised by 6%. Landlords, everyone out there in America that is listening and watching this video, listen up. If these taxes go up, these fees go up, landlords are not going to collect the rent that is due by these tenants. They may not even ever see this money. When you add in all of the responsibilities that landlords have financially to these properties, and you add in tenants not paying the rent and may never pay the rent, and now add in taxes and fees, this could very well lead to the collapse of the real estate industry in the United States as we know it. And if this does, this will affect everyone in America. Those of you that own property, those of you that are tenants, commercial and residential, those of you who are just regular homeowners with no desire to have rental income, this will affect you as well. How? Many landlords may end up walking away from their properties, either by choice or because they cannot afford it any longer. And we guarantee you, if this happens, your taxes that you pay in the home that you own are going to go up even higher. Landlords, in this our time. It has been beyond our time to let our voices be heard. Contact your legislatures. Contact your representatives. And demand to know why the courts are not hearing cases. Demand to know why this is not happening. Demand to have the courts open so that you can at least have your voices heard, your points of view understood, and hopefully a decision rendered, hopefully in the favor of the landlords. But right now, the decisions have already been rendered against landlords. And that is, you are not going to get into court. You are not going to have your tenant evicted. You're going to sit back and you're going to deal with it, Mr. and Mrs. Landlord. Whether you like it or not, it is the way it is. Get used to it. On behalf of landlords across America, we here at the Landlord Advocates are telling you, government leaders, we are not going to sit back. We are not going to deal with this. And we are going to let you know just where we stand. And we're going to do it now. Right now. Landlords, remember this, that the Landlord Advocates is here with you, and we are here for you. We ask that you subscribe to our channel, leave comments below, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, so that you will be made aware of all the other videos that we have forthcoming to assist you in becoming a better landlord. Until then, take care.